Clint Eastwood was born on May 31st, 1930, in San Francisco, California. His early life was shaped by the difficult circumstances of the Great Depression, which saw his family moving frequently in search of work. Eventually settling in Piedmont, California, Eastwood's formative years were filled with modest beginnings. His towering presence and rugged good looks would later become iconic, but his early career didn't suggest Hollywood stardom. Eastwood worked various jobs: lifeguard, forest firefighter, and steelworker, before developing an interest in acting. His journey into the entertainment industry was slow and steady, marked by resilience and a commitment to honing his craft. By the late 1950s, Eastwood began to secure small roles, though it would take persistence before he achieved true recognition in Hollywood. His breakthrough came with a TV role, but stardom was still on the horizon, waiting for the right opportunity. Breakthrough with Rawhide and the spaghetti westerns. Eastwood's first big break came with the television show Rawhide, 1959 to 1965, where he portrayed Rowdy Yates. The role allowed Eastwood to display his stoic demeanor and natural presence, characteristics that would become his trademark. However, it wasn't until Eastwood traveled to Italy and worked with director Sergio Leone on the Dollars trilogy of spaghetti westerns that he truly became an international star. Films like A Fistful of Dollars, 1964, For a Few Dollars More, 1965, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, 1966, transformed Eastwood into the iconic Man with No Name. These films redefined the Western genre, portraying a morally ambiguous, laconic hero who exuded mystery and strength. Eastwood's portrayal of the character was a major shift in how Westerns were perceived, offering a new, more complex type of hero that appealed to a wider audience. The Dirty Harry persona, a new kind of hero. The 1970s marked a turning point in Eastwood's career as he began exploring roles outside of Westerns. His portrayal of Inspector Harry Callahan in Dirty Harry, 1971, became one of his most iconic roles. Callahan was a tough, no-nonsense San Francisco cop with a strong sense of justice who wasn't afraid to bend the rules. The character's famous line, "Do you feel lucky, punk?" became ingrained in popular culture. Eastwood's portrayal of Harry Callahan resonated with audiences in a time of social unrest, reflecting the public's frustration with the status quo. As the character appeared in several sequels, Eastwood solidified his status as a leading man in Hollywood, known for his tough, unapologetic approach to both his roles and his career. Expanding into directing, shaping Hollywood from behind the camera. While Eastwood was thriving as a leading man, his ambitions extended beyond acting. He founded his own production company, Malpaso Productions, which gave him greater control over the films he worked on. In the 1970s, he began exploring directing and producing, with his directorial debut coming in 1971 with Play Misty for Me. The film demonstrated his ability to craft suspenseful and emotional narratives, earning critical praise. Over time, Eastwood's directing career grew, and by the 1990s, he was regarded as one of the most respected filmmakers in Hollywood. His work on films like Unforgiven, 1992, which won him Academy Awards for Best Director and Best Picture, proved that Eastwood's talents extended far beyond the screen. Films like Mystic River, 2003, and Million Dollar Baby, 2004, further solidified his reputation as a storyteller capable of tackling complex, emotionally rich narratives across a variety of genres. A life of music, politics, and personal complexity. Outside of his film career, Eastwood has lived a life rich in variety and complexity. A lover of jazz, Eastwood has composed music for several of his films, demonstrating a deep appreciation for the art form. He has also had a notable foray into politics, serving as the mayor of Carmel by the Sea, California, from 1986 to 1988. His time in office demonstrated a commitment to his community, and he approached politics with the same pragmatism that defined his professional career. In his personal life, Eastwood's relationships were marked by complexity. He married Maggie Johnson in 1953, and they had 2 children together. Their marriage lasted over 3 decades before eventually ending in divorce in 1984. Despite the challenges in his personal life, Eastwood remained a dedicated father, with his children forging their own paths in music and film, romantic relationships, and personal struggles. Eastwood's romantic life has been as well documented as his film career, with several high-profile relationships that have contributed to the complexity of his personal story. While still married to Johnson, Eastwood had a long-term relationship with actress Roxanne Tunis, which produced a daughter, Kimber. He also had a significant relationship with actress Sandra Locke, with whom he appeared in several films. The relationship lasted for nearly 14 years, but it was fraught with complications. Reports of Eastwood's infidelities during their time together led to a bitter breakup in 1989, followed by public disputes and lawsuits. Eastwood's romantic history has often been marked by a series of affairs, children born outside of marriage, and a public image that was sometimes at odds with his personal life. Despite this, he remained committed to his children and continued to forge meaningful connections with his family. The legacy of Robert Redford, a fellow icon. At 95 years old, Clint Eastwood has had the opportunity to reflect on his career and the impact of his contemporaries. One of the most respected figures in Hollywood, Eastwood has always been known for his reserved nature and preference for letting his work speak for itself. However, when it comes to fellow legend Robert Redford, Eastwood recently opened up in a rare moment of direct praise. "Robert has always been someone I respected from a distance," Eastwood shared. He acknowledged that although their paths rarely crossed directly, he had always admired Redford's style and presence. "He had a style, a presence that was all his own," Eastwood continued, signaling that even in his own storied career, Eastwood had a deep respect for Redford's contributions to film. This acknowledgement of Redford's talent speaks volumes, especially coming from someone as guarded as Eastwood. Eastwood and Redford, 2 sides of American masculinity. Clint Eastwood and Robert Redford represent 2 distinct archetypes of American masculinity. Eastwood became the rugged symbol of the Western hero, the silent gunslinger whose commanding presence filled the screen. Redford, on the other hand, embodied a more polished charm, mixing emotional vulnerability with charisma. Together, they created a dual representation of American masculinity, each man carving his own path. Eastwood, recognizing the difference between their on-screen personas, praised Redford for doing what he did best. "He wasn't like me," Eastwood admitted, and that was the point. He did what he did better than anyone, and it worked. This acknowledgement speaks to the unique roles each actor played in shaping the cultural landscape of their time, offering fans a glimpse into the mutual respect between the 2 stars. A shared journey, reflection, and respect. At 95, Clint Eastwood has lived long enough to reflect on the paths he and his contemporaries have taken. In speaking about Robert Redford, Eastwood revealed a side of himself that was thoughtful, respectful, and reflective. "When you get to my age, you start thinking about the people who walk the same road," Eastwood said softly. He expressed that, despite their different careers, he recognized Redford as one of the defining figures of his generation. "Robert was one of those people," Eastwood said, a testament to the respect he felt for Redford's character and career. In this late stage of his life, Eastwood's words serve as both a tribute and a reflection on the shared journey of 2 icons of cinema. Clint Eastwood's final thoughts, a legacy of grace. In his reflections on Robert Redford, Clint Eastwood showed a rare vulnerability, offering a genuine tribute to a fellow legend. "He carried himself with grace, and that's something I always respected," Eastwood said, summing up Redford's contribution to cinema. For decades, Eastwood's image has been defined by strength, silence, and a commanding screen presence. But in his later years, Eastwood has embraced reflection and humility, acknowledging the contributions of those who shaped the industry alongside him. His comments on Redford are a reminder that even in a competitive industry like Hollywood, there is room for mutual respect and admiration. The movies are better because of it, Eastwood concluded, offering a fitting tribute to a man who has shaped American cinema alongside him.